Today we're cooling off with the new Ego 56 volt misting fan. This is the brand new Ego 56 volt model number FN 1800, so FN 1800, and it's their 56 volt 5-speed fan. Actually, it's got 5 speeds and a turbo mode. It also has misting modes. It has an intermittent misting mode, an intermittent misting mode, as well as a continuous misting mode. We're going to try all those things, so let's dive in, take a closer look at this guy, and then we'll come back and talk about pricing and warranty. This is the brand new Ego Power Plus 18-inch misting fan. Now, this is supposed to have twice the power and airflow of your typical 20-inch box fan that you plug in the wall and you have a couple of speeds on. This thing has 5 different speeds. You can go down to low, which is going to give you about 1500 CFM, all the way up to speed 5 or turbo mode, which is going to give you 5000 CFM. So you're covering a lot of air, or you're moving a lot of air, not covering it. And then you see right here on the front of the fan, we have 4 misting nozzles here that's going to put out water through a hose that's in the back, and we'll show you that here in one moment. And I shouldn't say in the back because it's kind of whatever side you want it on. Now, this fan not only will lay down like you see it here, but it will also stand up vertically like this as well. Now, the reason being is because also back here we have a knob. And so if we turn this knob and loosen it up, now we can pivot this fan wherever we want to. So if it's sitting down and you want to pivot it this way, or if standing up and you want to pivot it a certain way, you can do so. So I believe it's like 220, 230 degrees, something like that. So plenty of swivel room where you can move this fan to exactly where you want to, whether you want it standing up or you want it sitting down. Also, for actually rolling this thing around, you have an extending handle as well. You get aluminum frame and obviously some plastic reinforcements, but nice aluminum. There are no locks you have to undo or lock. It just has detents in the fully extended position and in the fully retracted position. So no clips, buttons, or anything that you have to worry about for extending that or retracting that. We have a large handle here on the top of the fan, so we can carry it that way as well. And then obviously we have the extending handle we just showed you. Let's take a closer look here at the controls. So here's our control board where we're going to control everything. See a big power button, obviously that's going to turn on and off. Plus and minus, obviously that's going to be your slower fan speeds. Speed up the fan, and then turbo mode. This button here is your mister, and you see kind of the solid lines. That's going to be continuous misting. And then this one over here is going to be intermittent misting. So that's going to save on water. It's going to last a longer time. But if you're really hot, you can put it on the continuous mist and mist continually. Now, runtime on this, you see right here, it says up to 60 hours runtime. That's based on a 5 amp hour battery in low speed. So at 1500 CFM, you can turn this thing on and get 60 hours of runtime on a 5 amp hour battery. You can also run 7.5, 10 amp hour batteries. I believe I've got a 10 amp. No, I've got a 7.5 amp hour in here. So 7.5 amp hour will fit in there, no problem at all. So let's take a look here. If I power up, see I'm on low speed. And if I want to speed that up, I can do so. I'm blowing things off my wall. Anyway, so going down to 1500 CFM all the way up to 5000 CFM. Now, even if I'm in low speed and I want to speed that up, if I wanted to go to high speed from low, all I have to do is hit the turbo button. And you see it's going to ramp that up all the way to as fast or wide open, if you will. Or I could use the plus sign, get us up there as well, and then go to turbo mode. So we actually have 6 speeds on this fan. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then turbo mode as well. Obviously that's going to burn more battery life, but if you need that additional airflow and you got plenty of batteries around, then by all means you can use that and get that additional airflow. Now let's take a look at the mister. First, before we do that, one cool feature I noticed about this is, watch this. Let's say I like speed 3. I'm running on speed 3, got to leave the room, got to leave the job site, whatever it is, going to lunch, hit the power button, I shut it off, okay? I come back, everything's set up, I'm ready to go again. All I got to do is hit the power button, and it's going to take me back to speed 3. So I don't have to reset that. Thought that was pretty cool. I know that's not a big deal. Let's face it, we can hit the plus or minus very easily. But I thought that was cool that you can shut it off and it's going to remember your last setting. Now, what it won't do, it will not reactivate the mister. So if I have the mister on, say intermittent, and I shut it off, when I come back and I shut it back on, it's not going to return to that misting mode. Of course, that's going to save the pump and other things. And by the way, let's take a look at how the pump works. So we see all the way over here is our control board. That's where the pump is housed as well. And you see this clear vinyl line that runs over here. And you see it runs down here through these little clips. So you get that onboard hose management, if you will. And then over here is the actual pickup tube. So you can see I can easily pull that away from those clips. And now wherever my bucket is, or even, here's the cool thing, even a little bottle of water, no problem at all. Of course, if I didn't have the water all the way full, it wouldn't have spilled everywhere. But that fits perfectly right through that water bottle. I'm sure that was made on purpose to do that. And let's take a look. Okay, I'm going to turn the fan on low. So low speed, which by the way, that's in low. Maybe on the mic you're not picking it up, but literally I can barely hear this fan. It's supposed to be like 42 decibels. And I'm telling you, it's very, very slightly noticeable. You can barely hear that fan running. Anyway, so let's turn the mister on. I'm going to turn it and you see the water pick up and actually go through. So quite a bit of misting action in that continuous mode. Let me go into intermittent mode. Seems like it runs for about 5 seconds. Yeah, it seems like it runs for about 5 seconds. Looks like it's on 5, off 10. Kind of what it seems like to us. But anyway, so you see the intermittent mode there. And by the way, if the pump senses that it's not picking up water again, I think after like 90 seconds, it'll actually shut it off. So it won't burn up the pump if you don't have any water. But those misters really seem to put out a good amount of water. Let me get back into full time. Little better view of that misting action. You can see it's definitely putting a lot of moisture in the air. Speed up our fan. And really change that temperature on the opposite side of that fan. So I can pull the pickup tube out of my water bottle and quickly place it back in all the clips. And now that's tucked away and ready for another day. By the way, that pump will definitely pump some water, so I highly recommend not using just a water bottle because you're going to go through some water, which is a good thing. If you're going to use the mister, you might as well use the mister. Now let me show you something else here. If you're already on the Ego 56 volt platform and you're curious, will it run a larger battery? Here is a 10 amp hour. Fits in there no problem whatsoever. So if you already have a lot of their lawn care stuff or any of their other tools, the Ego 56 volt batteries, even the 10 amp hour is going to work just fine in there. And as I mentioned, you're going to get 60 hours of runtime on a 5 amp hour, half of this when the speed is on low. Obviously, that's without the pump running. One of the cool things I like about this fan is not only can you easily, open up the battery door and see the fuel gauge on the battery, but also you'll see when that goes out here, when I turn the fan on, it's also going to show us the battery life as well. So I don't have to flip that open. All I got to do is hit the power button and it's going to display the amount of charge left in that battery so that we can see right through the nice green Arc Lithium window we have right there over the battery. Well, with summertime right around the corner, in fact, here in Florida, here in Central Florida, it has been in the 90s already. So we're already experiencing summertime. And anytime we can have air movement, especially in a hot shop, and even better when we can add a little moisture to that air when that air is blowing across you, definitely gives your body that feeling that things are cooling off. So something that is highly beneficial in a shop is a misting fan. So love to see that. Also, this is the size of a box fan. Well, this part here is the size of a box fan. It's an 18-inch fan. Typical box fans, I think, are 20 inches, but this is definitely going to give you a lot more features than your typical box fan. So we were really excited about this. Now, this is definitely going to use some water. Within a few minutes, it'll go through this bottle of water. So you'll definitely want, say, a 5-gallon bucket. So you can look at that as a negative, that it's going to go through a lot of water, or you can look at it as a positive, that it's going through a lot of water and actually putting it in the air. The intermittent mode definitely is something that probably you'll want to kind of use and turn it on and leave it on, and it's going to do a better job of kind of managing that water as well as run time and give you that longer of both worlds, if you will, while still cooling that air and getting some moisture in the air. Because I'll tell you, on the continuous mode, that's great if you're in an open shop where moisture really doesn't matter, but it's going to put out some water, so you're going to see some water residual on things. So that intermittent may give it more time to dry off and not just kind of soak everything. And again, it's still doing a great job of atomizing that water, so it's not like droplets coming out, but you will start seeing it form on things, especially up close. So that is something to take a look at. By all means, you can turn the pump off as well. You don't have to run the misting side of it. It's very transportable with the extending handle, with being able to lay it on its side or stand it up. You have a lot of flexibility as to where you want to aim this, where you want to put it, whether you want to put it in a corner, whether you want to put it in the middle of the floor, whatever. You could actually aim it straight up and kind of create your own Venturi effect where you can kind of circulate the air if you wanted to. But many different ways that you can actually set this up. Now, along with the manual, you also get an extra misting nozzle. And not only that, the cool thing about this is they didn't cheap out on these misting nozzles. So these actually come apart and you can clean these. So when you're using buckets and bottles of water, a lot of times you'll pick up a little bit of trash. And with these really small holes here, you get a good chance of picking up some trash that's going to clog these nozzles. So when you see a nozzle that may be dripping water or not spraying whatsoever, you can quickly replace it. You can also take these apart and clean them. In the manual, it shows you how to do that. So you can clean these tips out and get them ready to go again. Nice stainless steel nozzle with O-rings, so it's built to last here. Glad to see that. Glad to see that we can actually work on these nozzles and it's not just, oh, once it clogs, it's done. Hey, check out the FN 1800 from Ego. This guy really puts out a ton of air, 5,000 CFM to be exact. Should be hitting the shelves sometime in the next month or so. I do know it's brand new, hadn't quite come out yet onto the market, but start looking and it'll be out there. We'll put a link to some of the places where you can actually pre-order these. Price on this is going to be about $250 for the bare tool or bare fan, if you will. So you're going to have to buy your own battery, buy your own charger. But if you're already on the Ego platform, this is a great additional tool for you to have, and anyone can use a fan for sure. Warranty on it is 5-year warranty on the tool. So check it out from Ego. Also keep track of us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. If you don't mind, would you hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done so already? And by all means, if you hated our video, give us a thumbs down. But would you let us know in the comments why? Have a great day and keep smiling.